The Scholastic Ball Report is sponsored by UK Sports Medicine and by Central Bank, Crown Trophy, Double Dogs, Mingy Beef Jerky, Panel Swim Shop, P-Rats, PrepSpin.com, Rafferty's, Raising Cane's, Roberts Insurance, Sutherland Chevrolet, and by Whitaker Bank.
Hello, welcome into the Scholastic Ball Report. Gary Ball with Mark Peach, head coach at Anderson County. Always great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having us, Gary. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
You've got a great team this year, Coach. You're off to a 5-0 start. You've got the bye week this week, so a chance to heal up.
It's coming at a really good time for us. We've certainly had some challenging games this year, so it comes at a perfect time.
Our feature is on Charles Collins. He's another Anderson County, and he's a double threat out there.
We're very proud of him. Not just a great running back, but also a great receiver, returns kicks, and a great person on defense for us.
And our scholar athletes come from Harrison County and Anderson County. We're talking, of course, about Thomas Morris. He's an outstanding student. And your young man, Brendan, boy, he does it right in the classroom.
He's a great football player and an equally greater student in the classroom. We're very proud of him.
And we've got another Sutherland Chevrolet drive of the week as we head down to Nicholasville to Sutherland Chevrolet. And Jenny Williams is in from UK. And Coach, we're going to talk about concussions. It's not only timely to your high school team, but to the NFL with those big billion-dollar settlements they're having.
Oh, yeah. You know, Gary, with all the improvements we had, with equipment and medicine and also better coaching, I think, from our low levels all the way up to pro levels, the game certainly is improving.
All that's coming up on the show, but we know what you want. You want the best highlights in the state of Kentucky. These highlights on WKYT's Game Time, brought to you by Central Bank, Central to Kentucky.
On the farm, Douglas remained unbeaten in 9 tries against Lexington Schools tonight, hosting Dunbar, team that picked up its first win last week against McCreary Central. District play beginning for both teams. First quarter, DeMarco Fishback, he's been the player of the week before on this very station this season. He gets the handoff and gets into the end zone for the score. 8-0 after the 2-point conversion. Bronco defense, Jay Sean Kaufman with the sack, and look at that little pat on the head because, well, he's a nice guy. Cam Jones, the pass to Hayden Hurt. Cam Jones, by the way, he won Homecoming King tonight, and he also won a football game. Douglas runs its record to 10-0 versus City Foe. In fact, Douglas and Male, the only 2 unbeaten 6A teams in the state, 49-15. Scott County has won 41 of its last 45 against Fayette County Public Schools. Bryan Station owns one of those wins during that stretch. Here's Jalen Burbage. He's going to connect with Kendrick Curry on the front of the end zone. Ties the score at 7 apiece. But Scott County would prove its dominance. Cade McKee fakes out the defense, then fakes out the camera.
Who did that?
Who shot that game? We're going to find him, and we're going to put an end to that. Glenn Covington on the receiving end of that touchdown, backpedaling into the end zone. 57-18 Scott County. Bryan Station has now lost 18 of 19 games.
At 3-2, LCA is trying to avoid 3 losses in a season for the first time since 2015. The Eagles still have Somerset, Danville on the schedule, so it doesn't get any easier. Tonight it's Kentucky Country Day late in the first quarter, so that means it's KCD versus LCA in the LAX. Late first quarter, Lexington Christian gets on the board. Jaden Barnhart with a money-making pump fake finds Darius Smith for the Eagles touchdown. 7-0 ahead of the second. Thomas White is just going to cap off the long drive. That's a touchdown. 14-7 at the break, and the good guys going to win at 35-7. LCA is the winner.
And welcome back into the Scholastic Ball Report. I want to thank Roberts Insurance. They're out of Richmond, Kentucky. They're on Main Street. They insure 3/4 of this great state of Kentucky. With my intern out of Lexington Catholic, Pierce Hall, Gary Ball, and that kind of rhymes there.
It does. Sounds nice.
And Coach from Anderson County, Mark Peach. thanks for doing that opening with me. It's always great to have you on the show.
We are honored to be here. Thank you for what you do for high school sports, Gary.
Coach, what type of team did you expect to have this year at Anderson?
Well, last year, Gary, we finished on a strong note in the playoffs, and we had 10 juniors, and now they're seniors this year. They were a big part of what we did last year, and we had a great season in the weight room, great spring practice, great summer work, and here we are at the midpoint this season having a great year because of those 10 seniors.
Right.
Coach, as any good high school football coach knows, the team's only as good as its players and coaches. So, these three play a big part in the team, don't they?
No question about it. We're very proud of these three young men, not just great football players, but also great students in the classroom and great leaders in our community. And they set the tone for us certainly this year in our success.
Aaron, I'm going to ask you the first question. How you doing today? And
I'm all right.
That's great. What are some of the keys to the success for the Bearcats that you've had this season? What do you think are the keys?
Well, our offense, when they start clicking, we start going, and now we always play as a team. That's one of the main goals. We always play as one. That's what drives everybody, and we always have a drive we want to do better, and we want to make room for improvement, and we're going to go forward in the playoffs, and we want to also get that district championship.
Brendan, as we've talked about already, you're a great student. So how do you balance your time spent with athletics and academics?
It's a struggle, but it all comes down to prioritizing your time and being able to put into the effort to do it, because a lot of it's just putting in the effort and the want to do it. It's just like football. But it's really about prioritizing your time. And
you'll also be on with us as one of our scholar athletes, so congratulations for that. I know that means you got a high GPA is what that means. Joe, tell us about your motto, the Band of Brothers there at Anderson County.
Well, Coach told us many stories about the Band of Brothers and just an elite fighting group from World War II. And just anything they did it together, and then that's just how we have to go out and play. Just got to do it as one. Everybody does their part, and we'll come out with a win.
That's why they call it Band of Brothers. Yep.
Coach, you're off to a great start. So what do you plan on getting better at and going through the rest of the season and into the playoffs?
Well, we have another non-district game, coming up here after the bye week. So you try in those non-district games to make those improvements, improve on those things that you need to going into district play. And the better you do in district play, the more playoff games you get to host. So it's all part of the process.
Coach, I got to ask you, you've been on with us for so long now, since you were at your Dunbar days. We've been on since '03.
That's right.
It's our 16th year in the ball report. How do you think you've changed as a coach over the years?
That's a great question, Gary. We certainly hope that you've improved. But coaching,
you have, Coach.
Well, but really the important thing is hopefully you're preparing young men to be winners in life, and hopefully preparing them to be productive husbands and leaders in their respective communities.
Well, I can honestly say this, Coach. The 16 years we've done this show, I've never heard anything bad about an Anderson County kid, so that's a good sign for you, the job you've done as a head coach, and these players here, the job they've done after they've graduated from Anderson County.
Well, the young men we have there are a pleasure to coach. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay.
And I'll be remiss if I didn't tell you, Mingy Beef Jerky. I'd like to present you with some Mingy Beef Jerky, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Take that, one of our sponsors, Mingy Beef Jerky. Coach gets that. And thanks, guys. Thanks for coming on the show. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
That's the Bearcats from Anderson County. Now we're going to this feature. It's on Anderson County. It's on Charles Collins out there. He's a great player.
Just a typical Anderson County, Franklin County shootout. You know what I'm saying? Just so proud of our guys.
Anderson County coach Mark Peach was all smiles following a hard-fought win over rival Franklin County on Friday.
Going into halftime, giving up a touchdown, and then coming out them scoring, and then just being able to overcome that and keep playing.
The Bearcats would pull away to the 42-21 win, thanks in part to a big game by running back Charles Collins.
Felt pretty good. It did. We're not used to this season having to play back like that, and it was good for us.
Collins ran the rock 16 times for 207 yards and found pay dirt 4 times.
We're so proud of him. He's a great young man. He does so many things for our football team, just in terms of not just running the football, but catching the football, returning kicks. Defensively, he was all over the place. He's a great young man.
Collins' most memorable touchdown was his last, a 60-yard score to seal the win. After the play, Collins embraced his friend and fellow running back Zach Labhart, who suffered a season-ending injury in the second game of the season. a special moment for both players.
It was it's a heck of a guy, and you know, to see him go down like that in the second game of the season, oh yeah, probably your best all-around athlete. You don't get over that, you really don't. So that was special to me to be able to hug him.
Lee K. Howard, WKYT.
And welcome back into the Scholastic Ball Report with Katie Spurlock, Gary Ball. Our most popular segment. It's highlighting kids doing great things in the classroom like you are and like you are. I mean, you know, you have a 4.119 GPA. I mean, wow, the extras there. But you also have taken dual classes, have 5 AP classes, and I understand you hold a job down too. So how do you do this and you know, with running cross country and everything?
Well, a lot of it comes down to time management. You got to figure out what's worth it, what's not. And a lot of the time work or schoolwork is done before I go to work, and practice is usually at home without the team. So.
Coach, how do you manage dealing with students that have so much on their plate, including running cross country and school and work and whatever else they might be doing?
Yeah. Well, with Thomas, it's pretty easy. He's pretty good about keeping the line open of communication and stuff. Let me know when he's working, what he's doing and stuff. He's been a cross-country runner for a while now, so I mean, he knows how the practices runs, and he knows what I expect and what he needs to do, and he does that on his own.
And Brendan, you keep a 4.119 GPA, just like Thomas here, so that's remarkable. Also, you play on a top-ranked football team. You guys are in the top 10. Who helps you keep all this grounded for you?
Really my parents. My parents kind of always been on me about doing my schoolwork. My dad gets on me about sports, you know. It's just really down to time management and what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do, you know.
And Thomas, what do you plan to do in the future? Does cross country have a part in that, or?
Well, cross country could have a part in it, but really what I'm looking forward to is hopefully getting accepted to one of the military academies, and I'm looking at more Naval Academy in West Point. So.
And Brendan, how about your future? I mean, have you thought about college or what you might do after Anderson County?
I'm pretty sure I want to go to college. I'm not sure where or what to do yet, but I'm sure I'll figure that out eventually.
Coach, what do you see for athletes like Thomas at Harrison? I mean, just great things in the future.
Oh, really great things. With all he takes on his plate, I mean, he's got a big, bright future ahead of him.
He sure does. And Ryan Tyson, he is at Crown Trophy. He will present a beautiful plaque to both of you. Pass that down. Right. If you take that over there, they'll personalize that for you. Thank you, guys, and keep up the good work there in the classroom. That's where it's most important, in the classroom. Our scholar athletes, and they hail, of course, from Harrison County and from Anderson County. Now we're going to this Sutherland Chevrolet Drive of the Week.
It's time for the Sutherland Chevrolet Drive of the Week. We go to the capital city of Frankfort. This is John Tillman rolling out in the rain and finding DeJuan Davis. What a catch, and watch as he stays in bounds. 48 yards later, he's in for the touchdown. That gave Frankfort the 7-0 lead, and the Panthers go on to get the victory. That is your Sutherland Chevrolet Drive of the Week.
Welcome back in. Jenny Williams joins us. Always great to have you on the show. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the Scholastic Ball Report without Jenny Williams.
It's good to be back.
And we're going to talk about concussions. What are the laws in Kentucky concerning concussions?
So Kentucky has some pretty strict rules as far as high school sports with concussions.
Do you think that's good that they have strict
rules?
Oh,
absolutely. You know, we've seen concussion rules evolve, you know, even in my time that I've been covering my high school at Lafayette, you know, it changes over the years, the way we react to them. We have dads come up to us all the time that say, you know, back when I played football, this isn't how we handled it. And we realize that we're evolving and we're changing because we know that we need to protect the athletes' brains more than we have in the past. But the rules are now, if we suspect an athlete sustains a concussion during practice or play, they're not allowed to return to play that day, and they have to be checked out by a medical provider. So they have to be checked out by a doctor, so an MD or a DO, so a medical professional.
Well, you kind of answered that question: who can diagnose and who can return when they can return to play?
Yeah, so pretty much anybody can diagnose, and even the coaches going through their sports medicine, safety rules clinic that they have to do, they know the signs and symptoms. Even officials that are, refereeing the games, they can see that, hey, a kid may have taken a hit, they don't look well, they may need to be evaluated. And there are times that referees come up to us and say, hey, I think that kid got hit, will you check them out? But to return to play, they have to be seen by a doctor to get returned to play.
A lot of people have eyes on those kids for you to help you figure that out.
Exactly.
What would be a specific sign or symptom you'd see directly off impact if you see a big hit in a game, they come to the sideline? What would be a sign you'd see that you know?
Right. So sometimes it's what the athlete tells us. So they may say their head hurts, they're dizzy, they're lightheaded, they may be sensitive to light, sensitive to noise, but then there's things that we may see ourselves. They may be unsteady while they're walking or have balance issues. They may be slow to respond to us. They also may have symptoms of nausea. They may feel like they're sleepy. Sometimes kids act a little differently, so they have behavioral differences. Whenever I'm talking to parents and giving them things to watch for, I give them all these signs and symptoms, but I say at the end of the day, you know your child. If your child is acting differently than they normally do, then we need to watch them, and we may need to get further care, by going to the ER tonight, but definitely being checked out by a physician.
Also, what is your ideal concussion protocol?
Right, so when an athlete sustains a concussion, we have them go to the doctor. The doctor takes care of them and follows them until they're symptom-free. We always say once an athlete is symptom-free and going back to school normally and not having any problems in school, that's when we return them back to sport, because school is first and foremost, and then sport is second. So once they get to school, we go through a return to play that's gradual so that they can go back to sport in about 5 days.
That almost sounds like an RPO play, return to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Good job, Jenny, explaining that concussion protocol. There's their website and their phone number, UK Sports Medicine. Now we're going to this final highlight package brought to you by Whitaker Bank, uniquely Kentucky.
Lexington Catholic suffered its first loss of the season last week against Highlands, facing another big test tonight.
Yeah, the Knights were in Louisville visiting DeSales, a team that has already defeated St. X, Butler, and looking for more tonight. Lex Cath over to hand DeSales its first loss of the season. Bo Allen picked off by Amos Griffith. Glad it's not Amos Moses, or he'd still be going. That leads to a DeSales field goal. It's 17-0. Southside Louisville guys, and then Bo Allen gets hot to Tommy Knopp, 45-yard touchdown pass going away from the camera. That made it 17-7, but DeSales, they are on a roll. 38-24 your final.
Former longtime Danville assistant Jerry Perry, now in his 5th season at Garrett County, tonight hosting the Admirals. Perry watched the Ads on their opening drive slice and dice, capped off by Corey Don Crawford taking the shot, but not before scoring the game's first touchdown from 4 yards out. Second quarter, Garrett County's David Pennington returns the favor from 4 yards out, but on the ensuing kickoff, a little bouncer squib kick is picked up by Brennan McGuire, and he's going to take off. We're going to see you later. Just outruns everyone to the end zone. Garrett County goes down swinging 28-22.
Welcome back to the wrap of the show. Thanks to Anderson County. Coach Mark Peach does a great job out there for coming on, and our scholar from Harrison County. And, I got to ask you, you lost to Highlands, but you had another big game this week with DeSales.
Yeah, we've got a really good game coming up with DeSales. I think we got any of the bugs out of our system this week, and we'll come back pretty strong.
You guys, LCA defeated an undefeated Walton Verona team. That was pretty strong.
We did. We came off a bad loss, Lexington Catholic, and we come back strong. And then KCD this Friday will be a good game. Hopefully, they're at Eagle Valley. So,
yeah. Got to ask you, Lafayette, the football team not performing very well right now. But what's going on over there at Lafayette?
Lafayette. It's always about the band. So, Lafayette band is always doing good. I know that.
Yeah. Well, you guys keep us in the game there with all of your high school knowledge and everything. As always, for those you see and those you don't see,
keep your eye on the Scholastic Ball Report.
The Scholastic Ball Report was sponsored by UK Sports Medicine and by Central Bank, Crown Trophy, Double Dogs, Mingy Beef Jerky, Panel Swim Shop, P-Rats, PrepSpin.com, Rafferty's, Raising Cane's, Roberts Insurance, Sutherland Chevrolet, and by Whitaker Bank.